So now that we know that a quadratic regression is an appropriate one for this data set from Chapter 7, then the next question becomes, how do you find that quadratic regression? Well, funny you should ask. Right? They say it right here, find an appropriate model with your calculator. And I have the instructions roughly right here, but let's do it together. So you go to Stat, and of course you've already entered the data in Edit, so you move to the right to Calculate. You pick number 5, Quadratic Regression. Now remember that this data wasn't in L1, L2, so I'm going to have to go to the trouble to do L3, comma, L4 because that's where I put it. I mean, if you put it in L1, L2, then you don't have to bother with this. Okay. Now, I never really mentioned this before, but I actually don't need to do the Y thing. I could just press Enter, and it's going to run the quadratic regression. If I wanted to store that information, which quite frankly I do, then I'd add in an extra comma, and then I do variables, Y variables, number 1, enter. And then it stored it for me. So now when I graph it, I can see the model's doing a very good job of matching that data. Isn't that nice? Alright. So that's how to find quadratic regression with the calculator. Again, the L3, L4 thing isn't necessary if you put your data in L1, L2. Poof, I know, I paused again. So the next thing you're going to absolutely need to know how to do is finding the vertex. All right, so see the top of this little graph right here? There's a vertex up there. So we want to be able to find it with the calculator. So you go to Second, Calc. Now, which kind it is, it's either number 3 or number 4. It just depends on which way the graph is facing. If you look at our graph, it's facing downward. So that means it has a maximum, right? If it's facing upward like a U shape, then it's going to have a minimum. So let me clear this out so you can see all the keystrokes. Second, Trace, which really gets you the Calc menu. You want to pick number 4, which is a maximum for this one. Alright, now it's asking us a question, left bound, right? But we're kind of losing some stuff up here in the writing. I don't like that. So I'm going to go take the time to go to the window, and I'm going to make the Y max bigger. I'm going to make it 10. And matter of fact, I'm going to make the Y min 0 because I can. Alright, now let me graph it. There we go. Alright, awesome. Let me clear that again. Second, Calc. There it is, number 4. Press 4. Now left bound. Now here's the deal. The peak is right here. You've got to move the blinky cursor to the left of that peak. Anywhere to the left will do. This is good enough, and I'm going to press Enter. Now it made an arrow. It's going to look this direction. So now I've got to go to the right. You've got to move the cursor to the right of that peak. Anywhere to the right will do, any place, and press Enter. Alright, so it's going to look in between these two arrows. And then for guess, you can move yourself back towards the peak where you think it is. It'll just make it a little faster and a little bit better of a calculation, quite frankly. And press Enter. And there it is. It found the vertex. It was 12.167, 6.93, which means, what is this? The prescriptions for OxyContin achieve a maximum in, what is that, 2002 at 6.93 million prescriptions. Alright, that's how to find the vertex with the calculator. One other thing, how to find when it's equal to something. We already know how to do it when we have an x value. That's in the table. Okay, but what they ask here is, when will it be 2.5 million prescriptions? So one of the easiest ways to do that is to go down here and to type 2.5 in for Y2 and then graph it. And you can see there's 2 intersection points. They have to both be on the screen. You might have to go back to the window and adjust. So you go to Second, Calc. We learned how to do this in Chapter 3. Pick number 5, intersect. Say, yes, that's my first curve. Enter, yes, that's my second curve. And then move yourself closer to whichever one you want to find. I'm going to go to the one on the left. All that matters is that my blinky guy is closer to the one on the left. And then press Enter, and it will find it. And then to find the other one, you do it again. Number 5, Enter, Enter, move to the right. Takes a while. There, I'm closer. Enter, and it finds it. Alright, see you here next time.